What's up, guys? I've got 25 JRPGs coming out in 2023 for you. Let's go. Starting right away with number 25, Wandering Sword. Wandering Sword is a Chinese martial arts adventure made similar to the HD 2D style games like Octopath Traveler. It has a strategy RPG vibe as the fights take place on a grid in strategic turn-based battle combat. The art looks amazing, and the character progression looks really interesting and intriguing, following that martial arts pattern. There's no release on this one yet, but some early previews have gone out, so later this year seems like a pretty good possibility. It's only on PC as far as we know, but we look forward to this one. It looks really cool. Next up, at number 24, Deca Police. Now, this one was announced at a Nintendo Direct, but it's actually going to be on both the Switch and the PlayStation 4 and 5. So, look forward to it wherever you want to play. But this might be the most unique game on this list. It's like a criminal mystery RPG where you use like a virtual space, and somehow that space fully simulates the real world. And so to catch bad guys, they go in there, try to figure out what's going on in this virtual area, and that somehow coincides with the real world. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But then, somehow a hacker gets in and turns all of your party into these anthropomorphic animals. Like, one of them's a rabbit, and another one's like a bear or whatever. But this is from level 5, and they rarely miss, so there's some real pedigree behind it. Now, whether this one's going to be a hit or not, we'll see. I mean, they also developed Eiyuden Chronicle, so, only time will tell. But Deca Police comes out for Switch, PS4, and PS5 sometime 2023. At number 23, we have Sacrifire. Now, Sacrifire is a modern take on nostalgic RPGs from the 90s, using hand-drawn pixel art characters with fully 3D environments behind them. It has a really interesting take on combat, but Pixelated Milk, the developers, are actively getting feedback and implementing it, so the hopes are high for this one. I did a spotlight video on this one, so I'll have that linked in the description below. Make sure you check that out if you're interested. Sacrifire comes out for all major consoles and PC sometime in 2023. At number 22, we have Blue Protocol. This is a free-to-play action RPG experience, so think something along the lines of Genshin Impact. In Blue Protocol, though, you get to create a character, and the creation tools look really expansive, so that looks awesome. But you pick a class, and you get to play it fully single-player if you want. The action combat looks really good. I love this art style, so I'm really excited about this one. I really think that after seeing the success of Genshin Impact, there is some huge expectations for this one, and Blue Protocol could be one of the highest-earning games of the year. Blue Protocol comes out for PC and all consoles except the Switch sometime in 2023. Number 21, we got Dragon Quest HD 2D Remake. Now, this game was shown off in 2021 and blew me away with the new look. I love the HD 2D style. It's so cool. And seeing older games get remade in this is super exciting. Now, we don't know much about this remake in particular yet. Information is super scarce. But this game is a classic, and remade in this cool new art style should only improve it. Hopefully, it'll come with some quality of life improvements as well, but we'll have to keep our ears open for whatever news maybe comes out. Now, I would assume it's going to come out on the Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC, but that isn't official. It just seems likely based on Square's habits. It might be a stretch to say this is a 2023 game, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, it's fine. At number 20, we're going Eternights. Now, this is a weird one. Essentially, it combines a dating sim with an intense action combat RPG. While many RPGs may contain dating sim elements, this title has it as a focus. And apparently, leveling up your relationship with other characters directly reflects in combat. This game seems a little silly at first, but the art style is pretty cool, and the combat actually looks really good. Now, we won't know until it comes out. It might just be trash, so maybe keep your eyes on reviews. But it comes out sometime this year on PlayStation consoles and PC. At number 19, we got Suikoden 1 and 2 Remaster. Now, wait a second. Isn't this a Konami game? They're still around? I thought they only made gambling games. Like Pachinko, right? Isn't that all they do? No? Okay. Okay, well, jokes aside, Konami announced that they are remastering the beloved Suikoden series, starting with a collection of the first two games. Now, Suikoden is a fan favorite. These two come from the original PlayStation 1, but now they're going to be remastered in HD. I never got to play the originals on the PS1, so I'm super excited to pick this one up and get to play them for myself. It comes out on the Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC sometime this year. Next up, at number 18, Disgaea 7, Vows of the Virtuous. Disgaea 7 already released in Japan, but it's finally coming to the West this fall. I really have enjoyed the Disgaea games I've played. 5 is the most recent one. I skipped 6 so far. But in 6, they moved to this kind of 3D model style instead of the hand-drawn pixel art. And I'm sure that saves them time and money. I personally just don't like it as much. That said, the whole formula is here. You got stats and all the different numbers that skyrocket into space. A fun, kind of whimsical story that doesn't take itself too seriously, but is still usually a pretty fun narrative. Disgaea games are like a treat. They're like candy. If you like strategy RPGs, then you're going to eat this one right up. If you don't, then you won't want it. Don't eat it, right? It comes out this fall for Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC. And I'm pretty excited to try this one out. All right, number 17. We're talking Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters. Now, this is a collection of the first 6 Final Fantasy games, and they're remastering them, but keeping the pixel art style. These games are already out on PC and mobile, but it comes out for PS4 and Switch April 19th. We just got that date, by the way. Now, this is kind of expensive, right? It's like a $75 or something, but you can piecemeal it together. So you can buy each game separately. The physical release is going to be super hard to come by. You can go look at like Play Asia or something, but it's pricey and it's going to be hard to get. But this is a great collection to keep your eye on. I am very excited to go back to some games I played in my youth. I love these games, and it's going to be good. Number 16 is The Legend of Heroes Trails into Reverie. Now, The Legend of Heroes is a long-running series. I would not recommend with starting this one, as it's like the culmination of 3 series all combining into one. Now, if this looks good to you and it piques your interest, definitely start at one of those 3. There could be Trails to Azure, which is in one, like a duology. There's Trails of Cold Steel, which is on PS4, so nice and easy. There's Trails in the Sky, which is like the very beginning, and some diehards will definitely say that, like, oh, you got to start there. You don't, but that's on PC, so you can totally play that one too. But you want to at least get some of that in before you come to this one, as this is like the final that brings it together. Now, if you've already played those, you don't really need me. You're going to play this one anyway, and I'm sure be all over it. The Trail series is known for its world building and long-running narrative, so if that's something that piques your interest, that's something that you want to get into, then I'd recommend looking them up and finding one that fits you. Number 15 is Fairy Fencer F Refrain Chord. Okay, Fairy Fencer F was actually a decent game from Compile Heart, one of the very few, okay? In general, I suggest that you don't really invest time in Compile Heart unless you either played one and loved it or just really love your fan service. Fairy Fencer F was actually a decent game. It wasn't amazing, but it was actually pretty decent. But it definitely still had some of that fan service. It just wasn't quite in your face as much as some others. Now, this one looks to be somewhat similar, but it has like 3D models instead of the hand-drawn stuff. So we'll have to wait and see, but maybe it'll be good. So keep an eye on it, maybe check out reviews and see if it's worth your time. Number 14 is Granblue Fantasy Relink. Now, as opposed to that last game, this one looks amazing. This comes from Psy Games, and it's probably one of the most anticipated JRPGs for the last several years. Psy Games is known for its immensely popular mobile gacha game in Japan, and this huge action RPG just looks incredible. The art style, the game animations, all of it. It just looks awesome. It's not confirmed whether we'll be playing like the events through the anime, which you can go watch, or if it's going to be its own story, but it looks like you'll get a ton of characters and try out different styles and see which one you like. I can't wait for this one. I'm so excited to play it. It looks so good. It's coming out for PlayStation 5 and PC this year. Number 13 is Loop 8, Summer of Gods. Loop 8 is like this cool turn-based combat relationship sim and visual novel all kind of pulled together. Your bonds with the other characters really affect your combat ability. Like, it's a necessary component, and there's like a mystery to uncover. So you're digging into the story, trying to figure out what's going on. This game actually has the makings of a real sleeper hit, so keep an eye out. It's supposed to release for all platforms on June 6th. Number 12, Etrian Odyssey Origins. Okay, now this is a remaster of the first 3 games in the Etrian Odyssey franchise. Now, these are dungeon crawling RPGs where you draw the map as you go, just writing in where the secrets were, where the walls are, and the route to take. I'm kind of low-key excited about this one. I never got to play the old ones. I never had a 3DS or anything, so I never did do those. These look really fun. I don't usually go for the first-person dungeon crawling games. There's a bunch of them out there, and a lot of people really love them. They just don't usually vibe with me. But the idea of kind of making the map is intriguing to me. So this whole collection is supposed to come out on the Switch in June 1st. I probably won't pick it up right away, but it does look pretty interesting. So if you guys love these games, make sure you let me know down in the comments. Number 11, we're going big in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the second game in the Remake trilogy. Final Fantasy VII Remake was incredible. That was the first one. And this second game promises to open up the world even more, seeing places and stories from the original PS1 RPG rendered in high definition with amazing detail and all of these new ideas thrown in. I can't wait to see places from the original, like Gold Saucer, and to see what they do with all the mini games. It's going to be so fun. This game comes out for PS5 this winter, and it should definitely be right there at the top of the list. Number 10 is Octopath Traveler 2. Now, this is a sequel to the acclaimed HD 2D RPG first released on the Switch in 2018. The second outing released in February for PC, Switch, and PlayStation, and it promised to fix issues that a lot of people had with the first one, and that mainly being an overarching narrative for the whole crew. Now, depending on which reviewers you paid attention to, the success of that may vary. Most people seem to really enjoy it either way, though. That said, most people who enjoy it are completely hooked and can't even seem to put it down. It sits with a 96% positive review score on Steam, and the critics agree with a strong 85 on Metacritic. So this one really seems like it might be worth a shot. I struggled with the first one. I love the art style, love the music, love the combat, but the stories just really lost me. So if this one can pull it together and have a meaningful narrative over all of it, it could really do it for me, but we'll have to see. I'll try it another time, but here's hoping it does a good job. Number 9 is Atelier Ryza 3, and yes, I'm pretty sure Atelier is how you pronounce it. I know it looks like Atelier, but I don't think that's right. So yeah. Alright, Ryza 3 is, at least supposedly, the final game in this series. This is Gust's most promising trilogy of the Atelier series. Ryza has boomed their sales of this franchise tremendously. Ryza 3 picks up the speed of the story and combat, having extra characters come in. So your party, I think they have up to 11 characters. This also came out in February, and it came out to pretty high reviews as well. It's got 86 on Metacritic and a 93% positive review on Steam. So Ryza looks to be a big win for the franchise. Now, obviously, you want to start with the first one in the trilogy and not just jump in the third, but this title continues what is looking to be an absolute banger year for JRPGs. Number 8 is Fuga, Melodies of Steel 2. Continuing on with a set of sequels, Fuga 2 resumes the story of the first title, following the characters through their war-torn world. The first title hit hard, and the second one looks to turn up the turn-based strategy and character interactions. This game is to be released on May 11th for all consoles and PC, and it's got a really interesting style, with tanks and guns and all this, but in a turn-based, almost advanced war style, but with more pulling on the heartstrings and a less cartoony style. So this game could be really interesting. We'll just have to keep our eyes out and see. Number 7 is Trinity Trigger. Now, this is a love letter to old action RPGs like Secret of Mana and Illusion of Gaia. This awesome-looking title is coming out April 25th on Switch, PlayStation, and PC, and it looks sweet. The art style for this one is really cool and unique, where it almost crosses that line into chibi, but keeps them at least mostly proportional. The combat is supposed to be super customizable, and that can be really engaging if they pull it off. April's kind of a tough spot with Pixel remasters and Jedi Survivor coming out, but here's hoping the game is good and that it catches an audience. Number 6 is Sea of Stars. You've probably seen and heard about this one. Sea of Stars is another love letter to 90s games, but it's taking its liking from Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasies, throwing it in a blue-green paint tint thing, and then up-resing everything, and pulling from other RPGs, all of that with a modern UI and quality of life improvements. This game looks sick, It's one of my most anticipated games of the year. It comes out on all platforms August 29th, and it's gonna be so good. Do yourself a favor, put it on your wish list, get ready for it. It's gonna be good. You're gonna want to play this one. I'm so excited. This is going to be good. Number 5 is Redemption Reapers. Now, this is a dark fantasy strategy RPG that has a super cool art style. Final Fantasy Tactics might be like my favorite game of all time, so strategy RPG games have a very special place in my heart. The reception on this one has been kind of mixed though since its release in February. The critics seem to enjoy the combat mechanics but lament a lackluster story and enemy design. It sits at a fairly low 63 on OpenCritic, and that is pretty similar to the Steam user reviews. So this might be one to pick up on a sale instead. I'll be watching for it. Honestly, I kind of hope it goes to like Game Pass or something. I like the idea of this one, but spending $50 on a 63 OpenCritic strategy RPG probably isn't in my near future. But, I love the idea of this. I like strategy RPGs. I like the art style of this one. I know not everybody does, but I like it. So we'll have to see, but one of these days I'm definitely going to be picking it up. If you're interested, maybe check out reviews first. Number 4 is Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes. Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes is an upcoming role-playing video game being developed by Rabbit and Bear Studios with director Yoshitaka Murayama, creator of Konami's Suikoden series, which we spoke about earlier. This is like the spiritual successor to Suikoden. They're even promoting it that way. This was the #1 funded Kickstarter campaign of 2020, and you can probably see why. Everything about this game looks awesome to me. Character designs, the combat animations, the overall art style, all of it looks so good. Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes is set to be a throwback turn-based RPG that enthusiasts have been waiting for. This one is right there among the top of my wish list, and I can't wait to get my hands on it sometime this year. Number 3, Wo Long. Wo Long is a Souls-like in the Three Kingdoms universe. It's made by Team Ninja, known for the Nioh series, and it looks to play kind of like Nioh and Sekiro had a baby, with parries being at the forefront. The combat is smooth, the animations are slick, and the importance on the parry makes this game kind of in its own little spot. I'm still early on in this one, but I'm loving every second of it. It's out on PC and the main consoles except the Switch, plus it's on Game Pass, so I highly recommend giving it a try. I'm having a blast with it so far, and I think you will too. Alright, coming up at number 2, Fire Emblem Engage. Now this is another strategy RPG. Man, if you like strategy RPGs, we are eating so good this year. This one, however, is only out for the Nintendo Switch, and it comes after the success of Fire Emblem Three Houses, which seems to have split the fanbase a bit. See, if you loved Three Houses' social aspect, then Engage is very likely to disappoint you, as much of that is toned down or just gone. If you like the Fire Emblem combat mechanics and the strategy gameplay, then this one is going to be for you, as that is the part that everyone is saying was way better. It's out now, so if it interests you, go ahead and grab it. Nintendo games don't really go on sale, so don't wait for one, just go get it. Finally, we're down to number 1, and you better believe it's Final Fantasy XVI. This is the newest game in the long-running franchise, following the tale of Clive from his teens through his 30s. This is the first mainline Final Fantasy to run with a mature rating, and everything shown about this game is looking not just good, but like it's set to be the best game of the year. It's a PS5 exclusive, and that's hard, I know, for some people, but it is taking the series in a fully action combat direction, so know that going in. But man, the fellas in charge of this one, especially Yoshi P, should inspire the utmost confidence. That's the team behind Final Fantasy XIV. This is my #1 wishlist game. I cannot wait for this one. I'm so freaking excited. Final Fantasy XVI is going to be the game of the year. No question for me. I know there's Tears of the Kingdom. I know there's going to be lots of good games. I know Starfield's in there. There's a lot out there. But I'm telling you, Final Fantasy XVI is going to take the world by storm. I guarantee it. It comes out June 22nd. It's already been announced to have gone gold. This game is going to be awesome. And if you're listening to this video later and you haven't played it, get it right now. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found one or more of these games that you want to play, that you throw on your wish list. Let me know what's your favorite, and if there's anything I missed in the comments, let me know so we can get it on the next one. Make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it. That helps out a ton and it means a lot to me. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing and hang out with us through this journey. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.